I'm gonna cook for my family for an entire week using only this book.
Cheers.
Dem taters.
So good. It's like a nice little burst of freshness.
Yeah, it's a new sauce idea for us for the barbecue.
It's bland.
You put a lot of pepper in here.
I like a little bit of heat.
Not that bad, actually.
It's strangely addictive.
It's oddly really tasty.
There needs to be more tomato stuff.
No!
Oh, it smells so good. This makes me want to cook with corn flour more.
Peace, guys. Have a great night. Don't forget, watch another video so that I make money.
Is that what I sound like? Greetings and welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on all things plant-based goodness, but today we're going to talk about this book, Seed to Plate, Soil to Sky by Lois Ellen Frank. Also credited on this book is culinary advisor Walter Whitewater. I actually hadn't heard of this book, so when someone mentioned it in the comments, I was really excited because as a Canadian who shares the land with Indigenous people, I wanted to give a book like this a shot and learn more about it. What's really interesting about this book is that it is broken down into 8 different chapters. It's called The Magic 8, the plants that Native peoples shared with the world. And that includes corn, beans, squash, chilies, tomatoes, potatoes, vanilla, cacao, and then there's a pantry staples chapter, which is a bonus chapter, I guess. So I'm excited to dive into this, and we're gonna do our best to try to do a recipe from each of those chapters. We'll see. I'm a little nervous because one of the challenges with this book that I'm just noticing from the outset is that it's got real specific ingredients. So we'll see how we navigate that. Stick around to the end of this video to see if we think that you should buy, borrow, or bypass this book altogether. But before we jump into the review properly, I'd like to give a shout out to some of the people who have said hello to us in the comments down below. Laura from Belfast in the United Kingdom, Barb from Wellington North in Ontario, Kimberly from Alabama, Mari from Tehachapi, California, Melissa from Mankato, Minnesota, Jean from Seattle, Susan from Phelan, California, Donna from Clarksville, Tennessee, Rosemarie from the city of Kawartha Lakes, Ontario, Shelley from Deep Creek, Maryland, and Kirsten from Connecticut. If you would like a shout out here on the channel, all you have to do is let us know in the comments down below who you are, where you're watching from, and let us know something about the channel that you enjoy. If you do want to bump up on that shout out list, all you have to do is join us over in the Mighty Network for that perk, along with many others of the PB with J 2.0 experience, and you can get all that for the price of a crappy cup of coffee a month.
You don't have to drink that. Thank you.
Before we jump into the review proper, just a reminder of how we do our grading system around here. It's the internet tier system. We didn't create it, but we use it. We like it. Do you like it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, an S stands for a superb dish. It kind of blew our minds a little bit. We definitely want to have this again. An A is really, really good. We could see this coming into our rotation at some point in the future. A B is, it's fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Totally okay meal. A C means I don't really like it, but it's not so bad that I'm not gonna finish it. An F means no, I can't even eat this. I'm gonna go look for something else in the leftover variety, or I'll just cobble together a peanut butter and jam sandwich. If at any point in this video you find yourself enjoying it, hit that like button to let YouTube know to share it with other people, and subscribe for more content like this. Now to the food! Why is it so fuzzy in here?
What do you mean?
Willie, you're all fuzzy.
I'm not fuzzy. You're fuzzy. See?
Oh, hi.
It doesn't look fuzzy. Can you see me okay? Like in real life? Am I fuzzy?
I need chocolate, stat.
Okay.
Tonight for dinner we're gonna make Three Sister Stew. Where's my chocolate?
Wait, really?
No, I'm kidding. So this is, Three Sister Stew is a pretty traditional stew in general, but I wanted to try their tweak on it. So the challenge with this book is that there's a lot of ingredients in here that aren't necessarily super common, so swaps need to be made. There's not a lot in this one, luckily. Like the New Mexico red chili powder, that's a very specific chili powder that you can't just find outside of ordering from a very specific website. So what I'm using there instead that I bred up with similar enough is my ancho chili powder. It'll give a similar facsimile. Other than that, for this recipe, I don't have to change too much. A lot of the recipes in this book call for blackened garlic, which is basically just burnt garlic. I'm just gonna add some garlic to our air fryer for a few minutes and just let it get kind of roasted in advance. So that's my swap for that. And then otherwise, it's just kind of a typical stew. You're gonna add in some vegetables, let them cook, add in some more, and then you slowly start to add in the rest of the ingredients, and then we're gonna bring it up to a simmer and let it sit for about 25 minutes. One thing that's neat about this that I don't typically do is it says that you can use either broth or bean juice. So I've cooked my own beans, and I'm just gonna use some of that as the liquid in the soup. It'll make it nice and thick. Probably also give me the farts. Willie can't review recipes this week. I think most of them you can't because she's doing a low FODMAP cleanse. So it'll just be the kids and I. Sorry, Willie, you're out.
I'm out.
There might be a couple you can try. Ooh, it's got like a nice level of heat and spice to it. I like that a lot. I prefer like a thicker stew like. I might blitz some of this up. Ooh. Just hitting me back there. Yeah, I might blitz a little bit of this up just to thicken it up. So it's a bit more stew-like, because it's called a stew. I like it. I'd like more vegetables in here, if I'm being honest with you. But I like the flavor a lot. The roasted garlic makes a big difference. This is like an A- for me. Like the flavor's really good. I just want more stuff in it. So I'm gonna give this like an A-.
It's a bit watered down, but I think it's good.
Yeah, I would have liked it to be more stew-like too, a bit thicker, right? Maybe less liquid.
It's bland.
It's a little bland. You can add more salt if you want. It's just you can salt and pepper to taste. I probably went a little light on the chili powder because I didn't want it to be too hot spice-wise. Would you want?
It's not spicy at all.
Really? I found it had a little spice.
Well, you're weak then.
I don't know what to do with that. To be fair, this one told me to cut down on the chili powder.
I give it a B because, if it's a bit bland, but if it was less bland, then it'd be an A.
Okay.
Have more flavor.
So I'm gonna say that's my fault that I didn't bump up the flavor enough for her.
Dad.
This is kind of weird. Tastes like water with vegetables in it. It's pretty bad.
But it's soup. Soup is vegetables with water. That's a weird way to describe soup. You just described soup is all you did.
Yeah, but it's a stew. You put a lot of pepper in here. Jesus.
Wimp.
What do you mean? Try this then.
It's not spicy.
It's a lot of pepper.
It's a fair amount of pepper.
That's a lot of pepper.
I kind of like, but you think that doesn't give it flavor?
Yeah, but it's like just pepper. That's
I
all
know.
it tastes.
But what do you think of the flavor?
See, because I'll eat it.
Okay. So before we start making the next recipe, I'm just gonna light up my 13-inch London Sunshine charcoal barbecue. Thanks, London Sunshine. This thing's super easy to use, especially because I've already used it a couple times just to get it seasoned in and whatnot. I find one of the secrets to getting a little fire going really nicely is just to use some dryer lint. Put the dryer lint in with your newspaper and your charcoal. And there's something with dryer lint that just like holds the flame longer than newsprint does. It's good for starting fires. Light it up, close it, and open up the top thing and the bottom thing. I'm not very technical. And that lets the smoke go through. And then it's the simplest thing. And it also gives you this awesome little guide inside the book that comes with it that gives you roasting temperatures. Kind of like preheating an oven, you just want to warm this up in advance. So that way it's nice and hot when you go to put the things you want to put on. So for our barbecue meal, I'm gonna make these grilled squash and mushroom skewers. And we're also gonna have these herb roasted potatoes for the side. And then on top, I'm gonna grill up some tofu for Willie and Annie. And then Ephraim and I will probably have Beyond Burgers. Again, because that grill makes the tastiest plant-based burger. So I'm gonna do the potatoes first because they're just gonna take the longest in the oven. The recipe calls for small potatoes. It calls for blue ones and white ones. You can usually, in Ontario anyway where we live, you can sometimes get like those tri-colored packs of small potatoes. It doesn't make a huge difference flavor-wise, I don't think. Nutrient-wise, sure. But, it's the rest of the stuff that's going to make the difference in this recipe. But it's great because you basically, you toss the potatoes in. We got fresh thyme, which we're going to grab from our Click and Grow. I'll put a link in the description down below for a discount code for that as well. But also fresh rosemary, and then just some salt and pepper. And chives, put chives on top. These are gonna be delicious. So we're gonna toss the potatoes in some aquafaba because we don't wanna use oil. And then we're just gonna drizzle over these seasonings and herbs and stuff. And then we're going to roast them at 425 for 15 minutes. And then we're gonna turn them around for another 15 and see where they're at. We didn't want them to be golden brown. And then after they're done, we'll garnish them with our fresh chives. And then for the grilled squash, you have to make a sauce, which uses a lot of oil. We're gonna change that over to aquafaba with lemon, water, salt, minced garlic. Willie can't have garlic right now because she's doing load FODMAP. I'm gonna make a separate garlic for her and do a different skewer for her that doesn't have that. And then with some mint and basil. And we have fresh basil too. We're gonna use it with some of these herbs too from our Click and Grow. Very exciting. So you have to cut the zucchini on like a mandolin and get it really, really thin. And then what you're going to do is you're gonna kind of like ribbon that and put it onto a skewer. If you're using wooden skewers, you should soak them in water first if they're going on a barbecue. We have metal skewers, so you don't have to worry about that. So we're gonna layer like the zucchini with the mushrooms. This photo shows summer squash, the yellow version of a zucchini. They're not in season yet here, so we couldn't get any. Ours are just gonna be pure zucchini. It is what it is. So we're gonna put these skewers actually on a regular barbecue because the skewers we have are a bit too long for this 13-inch barbecue. Brush the lime sauce over top and then you turn it every minute for like 4 to 5 minutes, it says. For the grilled squash, I'm gonna do that last because it says once it's done, to drizzle it with the sauce again and then serve it right away. And then on the side, I'm not gonna show it, but we're going to probably air fry some tofu for Willie and cook the burgers for Eve and I. All right, any potatoes first? What do you think of potatoes?
They're good.
Can you give any more feedback?
They're good.
Can you taste the herbs on them?
Yeah, I don't like that part.
So you don't like them?
I like that.
You like the fact that it's a potato, not the fact that I seasoned it. So what would you rate these potatoes then?
I'm big.
What do you think of the potatoes?
They're good. I think they could have more herbs like this.
No!
It's not super herby.
That could be me. I didn't put enough on, maybe.
But they're really nice.
And the potatoes, like, they need to be herbier, but I'm gonna blame myself for that. I'm gonna say it's an A for me too.
Yeah. Agreed. A's all around.
Dem taters.
Them taters.
Oh yeah, those are pretty good. I like them. Hey.
I don't really like zucchini. I see.
Cause you'll eat it?
The sauce isn't that good either.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good, but the problem is the sauce is cold, so then it made it cold. But the flavors are really good.
I really like that.
Me too.
It's like a nice little burst of freshness.
Yeah, it's a new sauce idea for us for the barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Like a mint.
I don't want
I honestly would give this like an A plus the skewer
Yeah.
because it's an interesting idea and I've never done that
But
before.
I think I would warm up the sauce and pour it after. Because also it cools so fast because it's so thin.
It does say to serve right away.
But even so, we poured the sauce on some of it after, and it was cold.
It's cold. It's alright.
How are the flavors?
Lemony.
to.
It's okay. Like a B.
Yeah, well, the burger you don't have to rate. But you can tell what you think of the burger being smoked.
Okay. Yeah, pretty good. It was a bit better last time we did it on the barbecue.
No word of a lie, that was the best burger I've had in my life, meat or otherwise. I never thought that adding a little bit of a smoke to a Beyond Burger would take it to like the next level. So good. And the same with the Beyond Sausage, which you didn't see, we grilled some Beyond sausage as well on here. Just adding that little bit of smoke just like made those things so much more flavorful. They just popped.
Did you guys know we got merch? Anyways, everyone, what's up? Today we're doing another recipe review. And I just got this amazing water from my sink. Healthy for you. Let's have some. Cheers!
Okay, she's making fun of me, but we do have merch available. Links down below. I'm gonna make Grace's corn ice. One of the things I really love about this book is the stories behind the dishes. For this one, she talks about how Grandma Susie would make this, and she would make it and kind of leave it out in the snow at night to cool. Well, if it wasn't, May here in Canada, I might do the same. So it calls for white cornmeal. I got the whitest I could find, which is pretty yellow still. Again, that's the challenge, is this recipe book asks for very specific versions of ingredients. It's not just cornmeal, it's like a specific color. And that makes it a bit trickier. So I'm just toasting it right now. Oh, it smells so good. So we're just gonna toast it on the stove top. I'm halving this recipe because it says it makes 3 5x8-inch containers, which we don't need that much corn ice. This is a really simple recipe. It's basically you toast the corn flour, and then you heat up water and maple syrup on the stove, and then you add a little salt. And if you have culinary ash, which is an ingredient they ask for a lot, you add that as well. And then once the liquid has come up to a boil, then you start whisking in the cornmeal and then you lower it down to a simmer. This is the part that sucks a little bit. It says to stir it frequently for 30 minutes to keep it from burning. So we'll do that. This recipe is fascinating because at first I was just like, I don't understand why I need to cook this down for half an hour, but it definitely got a little thicker, more like almost, I don't know, the best way I could describe it is like Play-Doh, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna let it come to room temperature, and hopefully this cools in time that we can have it tonight for a little dessert. I think it already tastes good just eating little pieces of it. This makes me want to cook with corn flour more. It's such a nice flavor. Maybe more polenta is in my future. And then you pour it into a container so that there's only like an inch of height to it. Let it come to a cool room temperature, and then you freeze it overnight. I'm doing this in the morning. Hopefully it'll be ready tonight. And then it says at the end to bring it out 40 minutes before you want to eat it, and then to let it thaw in the container, flop it out and cut it into squares. And then if you want, drizzle it with more maple syrup. I can't imagine my kids aren't gonna like this. I mean, it's sugar, right? In maple form, and we love maple syrup.
It smells like tortilla chips. Cold tortilla chips. Cheers. They like tortilla chips. Soggy tortilla chips. It's not that bad, actually.
Yeah?
But it's not that good.
What do you like about it? What don't you like about it?
Well, once you get past the texture, it's just, when you taste it, you think of a crunchy tortilla chip. But it's not a crunchy tortilla chip. Just try it for yourself. I wouldn't ask for it again, but I'll eat this. So let's see.
That's so different from what I was expecting. Huh. The book said it would have texture of like shaved ice.
No, well, I mean, like, the texture of the corn, like, flour does sort of.
Yeah.
But it's like...
It's not bad though. Like, try this. I don't think it's corn ice.
Oh, just go for it, sure.
What do you think? It's interesting, right?
Tastes like a frozen corn tortilla.
Right? Like, I don't hate it though. I'm having a second one. I would never make this again. It's like a C+.
There was so much of it.
I know. What do you give it?
C.
You gave it a C. I kept eating it, so I'm gonna give it at least a B because I kept eating it. It's strangely addictive. It wasn't at all what I expected to be texture-wise. Taste-wise, I kind of knew. That's a texture you can't really explain. Let's see what Willie thinks.
What is this?
It's corn ice.
Corn ice, my favorite. I can see how if you were living like, 700 years ago and it was winter and you only had corn and maple syrup, you might love this.
How did you love it 700 years after that?
It's good. I don't think I would beg anyone to make corn ice. I don't think it tastes bad.
Yeah, I was kind of the same. I find it strangely addictive.
Thank you. That's interesting.
What would you give it?
That's a funny one.
Yeah, I know. I had a hard time to it
Like,
too.
it's good, but it's not something I would request. It's oddly really tasty. So like a B+ or a A-.
Tonight for dinner, I'm gonna make this Navajo Minestrone Soup. So the only thing I think I'm gonna swap out here is probably just the sunflower oil, because as you know, here on the channel, we don't use the oil because you don't need it. Not for sauteing vegetables anyway. The rest of this, providing Woody got all the vegetables she was supposed to get, is gonna be the same. It's kind of a typical minestrone soup. I mean, here they have adding the tomatoes and the tomato paste and deglazing the pan and then the spinach in the water. So it's interesting, things go in a different order here than I might normally put them in. But other than that, it's pretty similar. You add the pasta in at the end. And honestly, I don't really add pasta into minestrone soup because I think it's just better for people to put it in their own bowl and then put it on top of it, because otherwise it just gets mushy, especially for leftovers. So we're gonna leave the pasta out and people can add their own. This is very similar to the soup we made the other night. So I just hope it has its own kind of flavor. But it also calls for some fresh basil and oregano and thyme, which I'm gonna pull out of our Click and Grow. Very nice and simple. Looking forward to this. Just us three musketeers tonight. One's in the kitchen.
Talk to the hand.
No.
I don't have any pasta in mine.
Is that long?
There.
I think it's got a little kick to it.
It tastes like a minestrone soup.
Yeah.
There needs to be more tomato stuff.
No!
More tomato in the broth or something.
Really?
Oh, the broth, yeah.
Maybe.
I like the zucchini.
You don't like the zucchini?
I don't like zucchini in general.
I don't get that. What about zucchini don't you like? It's kind of...
The taste.
I don't find zucchini has a strong taste. Is it the texture of it?
It has a
The
taste.
taste.
Yeah. It's pretty mild though compared to other things. I think the broth is nice. It's got a little kick to it compared to most minestrones. I quite like it. It's got fresh basil in it too. I'm gonna give this an A+.
B.
B?
It'll be.
A B? Why's that?
Because it's a minestrone soup.
Because it's just not something special?
Because it's a minestrone soup.
One more time in English.
Minestrone soup.
For our dessert tonight, I'm gonna make the zucchini bread with chili and chocolate. Made zucchini bread before, but I've never done it with chili powder in it to give it a little bit of a kick.
No!
What?
I just want zucchini bread.
Ephraim's already complaining, and he hasn't even had it yet. Oh my godness. I wasn't even gonna tell you to.
No!
Listen to this nonsense.
I don't even like zucchini bread because I don't like zucchini.
Since when do you like zucchini?
Forever.
It's in the bread. You can't even taste. It's like...
Last time I had it, I could.
Hey, it's banana bread.
I'll switch it out to banana bread, okay? She won't know.
I don't know what.
Huh?
I don't know what.
Nothing. You won't. I didn't say nothing. I said I'm gonna switch it out to banana bread for you.
And then you said she won't know.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
What are you talking about?
Then can I see the footage?
No. Anyway, I'm about to make a dessert that the kids apparently have already decided they don't want to like. I'm kind of starting to agree with some of you in the comments that complain about my kids. A little bit. That said, come on, man. Only I can say that about my kids. You know who you are. So what we have to do is we have to grate a zucchini. I've never done this before. It says to put a little bit of salt on it. leave it for a few minutes, and then let the salt draw out the excess liquid, and then run it through like a nut milk bag or something to get the excess liquid out. Honestly, I usually just grate it and toss it right in. I don't know how much of a difference that's gonna make, but we'll do it. Otherwise, we're going to mix together the dry ingredients. I'm gonna make this gluten-free, obviously, so Willie can have some. So the only swaps I'm doing for this are the oil is gonna become aquafaba. And then it's a one pot dish, which is good. You just kind of like put all the dry stuff together and you make a well, and then you add the wet stuff in one by one.
Dad, I'm gonna go have a shower.
You're gonna have a shower? Where you wipe off all your dirty thoughts about not wanting to eat zucchini bread? And you're gonna come down and say, thanks, Dad, for making me dessert.
Thanks, Dad, for making banana bread that you're not lying about.
Of course, daughter.
If it's zucchini bread, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm a rage.
Coming up, Annie rages. So we're gonna cook this thing, bake this thing, I should say, at 350 for 60 minutes. And then you let it cool for 30 minutes before slicing. It calls for 72% dark chocolate chips. That's very specific, which I don't know the percentage. I just know that they're animal cruelty free. Hot tip, always put extra chocolate chips on top. Because, do I really have to explain why you put extra chocolate chips on top? Because it's more awesome that way. Come on.
Oh, I like it.
You don't like it? What don't you like about it?
Ate all of it.
Yeah, you did eat a lot of it.
That bad.
She goes for the second piece? It's not that bad? Okay.
It's better than your other breads.
What?
Spicy.
It's not spicy.
But I don't know. I just like regular zucchini bread better.
Yeah, you don't like little kicks? What would you give it?
Like a B minus.
It's better than your other zucchini breads.
So what do you give it?
A B.
I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's like got a little kick. It's almost like, I know it's not gingery, but it's almost gingerbready in a way.
It's got pumpkin pie spice in it.
Yeah, it tastes kind of like a gingerbread kind of loaf. I like it a lot. I give it an A.
Oh, that little kick hits you right away. I like a little bit of heat in the desserts we've been having in some of these cookbooks. I don't know if I'd like want to make this a lot, but I definitely like it a lot. Definitely, it's a solid A. Lots of flavor. It's got a good moisture. Putting the aquafaba in instead of the oil didn't make a difference. This is delicious. So just for the record, Annie went back and not only finished her other half of the slice, but got more. So we're gonna change her grade to like at least an A minus. She just likes to stick to her guns when she thinks she's not gonna like something, but I can sniff her out. Thanks for joining my family as we chug through this book. Before we get into my final thoughts on it, just one more last thank you to London Sunshine for sending us that charcoal grill. We really, really enjoyed it. And if you want more information about how you can get one of your own, check out a link down below. So what were my final thoughts on Seed to Plate, Soil to Sky? Here's the thing. You might have noticed that this review video had a few less recipes than we typically do. And the main reason was that the more I went through these recipes, as much as I really wanted to make them, more often than not, I came against just ingredients that were gonna be hard to source. And I live in a big city. So I think we really enjoyed the ideas in here and a lot of the recipes. That zucchini bread, I wanna make that again for sure. But I just found that as I was going into more of the recipes, and especially the desserts, which I wanted to make more of, it just felt like I was challenged by things that required just like a lot of volume of certain ingredients that were hard to source, or just things that like corn husks I can't necessarily get on a moment's notice, and the specific kinds of corns and spices and all that kind of stuff. So this one is gonna have a bit of a weird final thought here, because here's the thing. I think that if you live in an area that has ingredients like this, and you're interested in cooking this way and you want a bit of a challenge, you've been cooking plant-based for a while and you want to level up, I think this book is a potential buy for those people. I think if you are someone who is new to this way of eating and you just want simple, easy ingredients with recipes that you can find from the store, this is probably a bypass. And for some people that are in the middle, then it's a solid borrow. So we're kind of all over the realm of final thoughts with this book, but I don't think it's a bad book by any means. It's just very, very specific into a certain cuisine. But I think it's awesome that they made a book to honor plant-based eating with using Native American ingredients. So kudos for that. And if you are considering buying it, please use the link down below because it helps us out here on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button down below to let YouTube know to share this with other people. And of course, subscribe for more content like this. Speaking of which, YouTube thinks you should watch this video next. I don't know why. They know you. They do. I mean, we know you too. That's why we made this video, because you're gonna like it. Give it a shot. Thanks.